Hi there. Welcome to Stories Shorten the Road, another story that I hope will entertain you while this pandemic is going on. And yeah, you can find a lot of stories on my website. And also, you can contact me if you want to hear some live stories on Sunday evenings for the rest of the month of March. Okay, now this story is actually a personal story. It's about my grandfather. We were lucky in a sense that my grandparents lived with us one time I was 10 until, well, I left home. And they were old. And so they had all sorts of stories from the times like 1912. And there were no, there wasn't really very much that was the same as when they came to live with me in the 1950s. They had immigrated in 1912 to Canada, and they had built their own house. It's in Scarborough, which is, of course, part of Toronto now. But then it was out in the boonies. You could build your house. You could have, well, there was a well that two or three of the houses all shared. You could have chickens. There was a cow. Of course, they all had outhouses. And my mother always said the one rule with the outhouse was you always close the door because it didn't have any lids on it. It was just holes, 3 or 4 holes. And, well, one year, close to Easter time, my grandmother, she would have been a young woman then with just little kids, one of them being my mother, she went to my grandpa and she said, Harry, go and get us a chicken for Easter dinner, one of the chickens from the yard. Well, my grandfather was a working man, and he had to handle horses and all sorts of heavy things, big wagons, and he had hands that were huge, and the rivers, that's what the veins looked like all over his hands. Well, he went out and he tried to catch those chickens, and, well, if any of you have ever tried to pick up a chicken, if it doesn't want to be picked up, it just scoots away and tries to fly. And he ran all over the yard chasing this one chicken that he had earmarked for the Easter Sunday dinner. Well, my mom said the kids were watching by then, the neighbors were watching. Somebody had used the outhouse and had left the door open. And you guessed it, the chicken was trying to get away from my grandfather, and it hopped into the outhouse and hopped up on the shelf and down one of the holes. It was gone. Well, that was a good chicken. My grandpa had to get it out of the outhouse. So he got a piece of really strong rope, and he made a loop or a noose, and he went into the outhouse and he started dropping it down into the hole where the chicken had fallen in, and then yanking it up like that. And then dropping it in again and yanking it as soon as he felt maybe the chicken's neck was in there. He tried several times and the rope changed color. It sort of took on a yellowy brown color. And one of the times he put it in there and left it for a while, and he yanked it up, and there was the chicken hanging down. Also yellow and brown. It had been a white chicken. Well, he took it out into the yard, and he said to my mom and her brothers, go and get some pails of water from the pump down the road there, the well, and bring it back, and you can throw it over the chicken, and I'll hold the chicken like this. And they kept getting pails of water and throwing it over the chicken, and gradually all the brown and the yellow disappeared, and it was just a wet, white, shaking lump of a chicken. And so on Sunday at noon, they had that for their Easter dinner. And I remember saying to my mother, how could you eat something like that when you knew it had been in the outhouse? And she said, Mary, we were poor. Besides, it was clean, it was washed, it was plucked. All the feathers were gone. It was roasted with herbs and bread stuffing. It was delicious. We ate every last bit of it. And that was actually the last story I ever heard from my mother. And I was really glad I'd gone and visited her that day, because I don't know why she remembered it, but now I have it to tell you. So, check out my website. There's a lot of stories there, and I'm going to be trying to add some more. And this is all part of a project called Safe at Home Manitoba. And a lot of people are doing a lot of different things in order to help people stay at home and find interesting things to do or try different things. All right, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.